everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at 6 party games. Sometimes I bemoan the number of new party games that come out, but this year there's a lot coming out. Not only do I have these 6, I have played, I think, 6 more since these. But these are the 6 we're taking a look at today. We're going to give some short revisions and opinions of each. Here we go. Sync, which almost looks like either a little box that you'd buy in a taro shop somewhere, or it just holds a bar of soap. But this is a game where you're instantly connecting, and it almost is a little pretentious, like, woo, connect with each other. Okay, I'm giving clues, you're guessing the words. Let me show you. Sync's a pretty simple game with a bunch of cards that have a bunch of words on them. You're in teams, one person's the guesser, everyone else is the clue giver, and they'll say a number. So let's say I say, for example, 2. And then your team's going to spend some of their tokens that they have here, and those tokens are going to be how many word clues they can give you. You can even ask for more. And you can guess them. They could even use the Super Sync tokens to say, I'll give you one word. I might look you in the eyes and go, crocodile. You know, I go, alligator? Or maybe I would say Florida. Who knows what I might say. But that will give you 2 points. Cards will keep track of points. Otherwise, you can guess. Another team can also use these tokens to steal your guess. But that's basically it. You're going to go back and forth till you run out of tokens. And whoever has the most points is the winner. This one is okay, right? I'm giving it a 5, which is, I guess, a little bit less than okay. But there's really not much here. Give a 1-word, 2-word clue. Stealing the clue. There's some interesting parts here, but really just, I have to get you to guess cherry in 1 word or mushroom in 2 words. Nah, I wouldn't buy this. You could just open up a dictionary and read words and do that. It's inoffensive, I suppose, but again, the pretentiousness throws me off a little bit. So 5 out of 10 for Sync. Smug Owls came to my attention. It won, I believe, the Origins Award for Best Party Game of last year, and I didn't know anything about it. And then I saw that it was basically you make a random riddle and then answer questions, and I thought, that's a hard sell many times because making up an answer to a riddle, being clever essentially, is tricky for a lot of people to do, including me. I'm not pretending to be cleverer than others. So I gave it a whirl, and here's how it plays. This game is pretty simple. Each round you're going to take 2 of these blue cards, they all have different backgrounds, and then a conjunction in between them from this pile. So what is catastrophic and never captures? Everyone has to come up with an answer to the riddle, and when you think so, you slap your hand on the table. And the last person to slap their hand on the table becomes the Smug Owl. They're basically the judge. Everyone gives their answer. Maybe I would say a tornado. I don't know. I could say the king. I don't know, in a chess game. Whatever it might be. Anyhow, the Smug Owl decides who gets 3 points. They can give all 3 to one person for a great answer, give 2 and 1, or give 1 card out to each person. And then you draw 3 more cards. What feels wrong, and sometimes needs power. And of course, sometimes the answer just comes to you. But even if you get no answer, at least you get to be the Smug Owl. You do this 8 rounds, and whoever has the most points is the winner. You would be surprised at how often someone just picks the word and you're like, it gives an answer, and you're like, that fits perfectly. That's a perfect answer. And again, it's not like these people are the people who are wordsmiths and very clever and humorous people, although those people will do well at the game, I'm sure. But I've seen very quiet people go, yeah, hamburger. And you're like, yes, that's the right answer. Bellevue, you're right. That sort of thing. And the questions and the prepositions, it comes together pretty well. I was surprised at this. I wouldn't want to play it all the time, but I like it. It's kind of, this is one where you actually can, play for points. A lot of the party games I talk about, you're just scoring and see who wins. But this one was more entertaining than I had anticipated. So I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. It allows you to be cleverer than you might think, and there's a lot of replayability in a small little box. That's Smug Owls, 7 out of 10. Da 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 da. So da 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 is, I'm sorry, just 3 das. Da da da, that makes it worse. It says it's nonsense until it makes sense. The backstory to this, which is written in here, was that there was some designers in a room, and they all spoke different languages, and after many, many hours of being in that room and doing stuff, they came up with this game. Take of that what you will. Here's how it plays. The rules for this game are a little hazy, but essentially you have a bunch of these sound cards. Roo, bip, coo, cooloo, duh, tur. And you're going to have 5 of them in a game. And you're going to put out some words. And like as a group, you're kind of deciding what words go with what sound. I might have a new sound here, Lou. Oh, maybe the TV goes with Lou, whatever it is. There's a big giant stack of these image cards. And what someone's going to do is they're going to pick one, and then they're going to mix that with a bunch of other cards. And then they have to get you to guess which word they picked by only using these sounds. I guess you can shake your head yes or no. I can be like, Difflu. And you're like, okay, which one would fit in these? But if I'm like, Difflu, like, well, it really goes in this category, but less in this category. Here's the thing. As you do that, everybody who's guessing may also only communicate to each other using these sounds. And so you're just basically talking and going back and forth with this weird language. And that's kind of it. If you get it right, you put it in a say what pile, and you kind of score for how many cards are in that say what pile at the end of the game. That's kind of how you play, if play is the correct word. I hate this game and everything it stands for. 3 out of 10. I hate it. I really hate it. Because in reality, what this game is this is group 1 to group 3. This thing belongs in group 1. This belongs in group 3. Okay, figure out this new card. What group does it fit in? Well, first of all, those categories aren't particularly defined. You're just kind of guessing. And that's messy as it is. And then you add in the silly sounds. Darling, muja, who's over? That's funny for me for about 30 seconds. I said at the beginning they created this, you're creating a wacky language. No, you're just being really annoying. You're like, ah. Oh my word. And the fact that the people guessing, if it was just the one person giving the clues, I might grudgingly go, but no. The way it says the circle of emotions is, I don't get it. Wait a minute. Oh, I get it. No, I don't get it. This feels like some weird social experiment. I don't want to play a weird social experiment. I want to play a funny party game. 3 out of 10. 1 point for each da. I think some people are going to like it. I am not one of them. Factory of Dreams. Ooh, we're making a dream factory, and we're all working together cooperatively to do so. Here's how it plays. There's a lot of word cards in this game. You're going to split them into 8 piles of equal size at the beginning of the game. You're going to have 5 potions you're working with. And each round of the game that you play of this, you're going to pick a dream from here. You can randomly pick one. So maybe cinema dreams. It's about dreaming cinema sets, extras, accessories, equipment, films, and famous actors. Make the dreamers the new stars of Hollywood. Okay, this really has nothing to do with dreams. It's really just kind of a category. And what players are going to do is they're going to pick one and stick this underneath one of these potions here on your turn. And each card can have up to 3. You're just going to keep doing that as you put these cards under various things. Tile, I don't know if they match. There's also some special tokens you can do. You can say, this one's worth an extra point. I'm going to sweep all the cards off the top. Once everyone is finished, once everyone's passed, each of these has to have at least 1 card underneath it. So after you do that, everyone is then going to write the word that matches the dream to some degree, and this. So maybe for this one, I put, I don't know, what's a famous robot movie? Iron Giant, right? So Iron Giant I put here. Someone had put oil there. That might have made even more sense. Iron Giant. So you're going to write the answers here, and after everyone's done writing answers, we're going to reveal them, and the number of people who match is how many points we get. So if 2 people, this is a 4-player game. If 2 people match, you get a point. If 3 people match, it's the number of players, which would be 3. And if all 4 of us match, it's 1 plus the number of players. And we'll keep track of our score here. And then we're going to go through each of these and see how many points we get. So that is sort of the game. There's a few different special abilities, like I said, with those tiles. But that's how you play. And then you check out the Great Sandman's chart to see how well you did. This game has some very nice production with all the dreams and stuff. Although the dreams are kind of funny because it's like, ooh, there's like green dreams. You're dreaming of things that are green. And oh, you're dreaming of things in the snow. Okay, yes, it's a dream. It's basically just a category. Fine, I get it. You have this category. Putting the words out, so it's a weird cooperative game. Someone will, they'll put underneath here strawberry. and you'll be like, oh, I think the word there, that this is going to work well. It might be picking or whatever the word is. And then someone else will put the word gold next to it. You're like, huh? Those don't work together at all. You're trying to match other people, and sometimes it's pretty obvious, and sometimes it's not. And the game has a little bit more much ado about nothing than it needs to have. These special tokens and moving stuff around, and at the end, it's a little hazy. So I don't dislike it. It's kind of an interesting way to pass time, but it's not the kind of game that elicits to me a lot of laughs. There's a little bit of yelling, like, how could you not know that helmet and forge meant dwarf? And I'm like, well, I just didn't think of that. Yeah, the theme was fantasy. That's nicely combinable. The stuff often does not combine. And in fact, when I did the overview, it was a lot of work for me to sit there and think of clues. So I just put out things and hope that maybe your minds would fill them in. Then your minds might fill them in, but for mine to match, so kind of, And that's kind of where I'm at with this game. It's a 6 out of 10. It's there, I'll play it, but I would rather play another party game. That's Factory of Dreams. That's you! This is a game and only you can tell who you are about you. Now, there is a lot of games like this. This one has a slight difference to it. Let me show you. Each person is the clue giver once. You're going to draw 6 cards from a fairly large size deck that has different colors. I don't know if there's a difference between the blues and the purples, but you put 6 out randomly. Then you're going to shuffle these chips, and you're going to put one down next to each. But the clue giver is going to have looked at the chips. So most of the chips will have that X on them. One of them is going to have a check mark on it. And that one is the clue. So who would camp in a graveyard? And you're talking about people who are at the table at this point in time. So you have the least likely and most likely. So I'll give most likely to one of the other players. Let's say I give that one to Camilla. Least likely, I might give that to Z. And less likely or more likely, the last chip, you have to give a chip to each person. So I might give this to myself, because you can give a chip to yourself, more likely. And then everyone says, well, most likely, there's no way Camilla's a compulsive liar. So the group as a whole, they're talking, they'll say no. Yay. And they cover up the negative too, because we're trying to get a score here. Then like read a book for 12 hours straight. Tom might do that. But he said less likely on his, so maybe not that one. And they're just going to keep going through until they eliminate the one with the check mark. Then the round is over, and that's how many points you get. Then you replace the cards. And there's lots of cards. Would get invited to the Met Gala, fixes people's loves life, walking encyclopedia, wears the same clothes for a week, afraid of the dark, easily distracted, always orders the same menu, etc. After everyone's been the judge once, you look on the back of the board here, see how many players, how many points you get right, and it tells you what your score is. Now, I should always mention with That's You, this is a game that I like. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. But be forewarned, there's always the chance of a little bit of hurt feelings in this. If it says, let's take a look at some of the clues in here. So let's say the clue here is trips over their own leg. We're like, oh, definitely Sue. Now, Sue might laugh and go, ha, you're right. I always do trip over my own leg. But Sue may not be as thrilled about that. Let's see, regularly hits glass doors, would mistake a fake plant for a real one, jumps off a cliff because someone says so. Again, everyone at the table might laugh and be silly if you point this about them. The game isn't about mocking each other. You're using people to get to the clue. And that's where I think That's You is clever and interesting. Also has really nice components. And like I said, I enjoy it. I didn't find anything to be particularly egregious. Someone said something about me, and I was like, yeah, you're right. That is me. Ha ha. If you're not that way, run and hide from this one. Otherwise, this one doesn't feel that mean. And I like the concept because you're about guessing the clue, not about guessing people. So That's You. That's You. I'm confused. Jinx O or Jinx O, a new phrase that Velma will say. This is a game in which you're trying to match other people, but also tic-tac-toe, baby. In this game, there are 3 rounds. In each round, there are 3 cards. You draw a card from a very big deck of dual cards, and you pick something, okay, things related to vampires. So I might write long life, I'll write fangs, and I'll write garlic. Okay, you can write them anywhere you want, actually. And the next one says, places that have waiting rooms. All right, so I'll write a doctor office here. DMV has a waiting room. And a hospital. I'll write the hospital there. And then finally, we got fictional cats. Well, Garfield goes here. What are the fictional cats there are? There's Felix the cat. And the meow cat, whatever it is. So once everyone is done writing their answers, you start reading off an answer on your board and comparing them to other people's boards. Hey, look, someone else did garlic. Actually, 3 other people did garlic. So I circle that answer. No one else put Felix. Okay. No one put that cat. And you're just going to go around and circle the other ones that people did. And if only one other person did it, you'll also fill in the star here. When a round is over, I count up my points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 circles. 1 star gives me 2 points. And then I got all this row across, which gives me a bonus of 3. And all this column down, which gives me 1. So I get 4 more points. That's 12 points for round 1. Then I'm going to erase my board and start another round. After 3 rounds, whoever has the most points is the winner. I like this combo a lot. I mean, again, I love the concept of, there's another game called What Were You Thinking? Basically, there's a category and you're trying to match other people. And then you just put them around and the things you're very confident about, you're probably putting into 3 rows and 3 columns because you want to get those points. So there's a little bit of strategy there. And the things you're not, you might put into 1s. You also might be just a bit not super obvious because, again, if you only match one other person, you get 2 points. Although I find that happens more by happenstance than by intent. But I found it to be funny. It's a silly little game. It's fast. It's simple. One last thing I would say is the categories are pretty normal categories. I mean, I'll read through some of the categories here. Music genres you wouldn't want to hear at a club. Places with the worst smells. Places where people fall asleep. Places where you need to wear a mask. Things siblings borrow from each other. Places where you can bring a dog. Things that have an age restriction. So that's kind of the stuff that's in here. That's fine. But what I found is a lot of those clues, a lot of things I just said, don't work for kids. Kids may not know, the common honeymoon locations. This is one. Or places you would find drunk people. So just keep that in mind. Even though the box says 10 plus, when I played with my family, with my kids, I kind of would just turn over once until I was like, yeah, this one works for the whole family. I wish they had kind of maybe color-coded that a bit, like the one color was easier than the other. That's my only real complaint about this. Other than that, I like the mix-max of tic-tac-toe and other stuff. So Jinx O, 7 out of 10. And that's it. We have 6 different party games. I like 3 of them. I think 2 are and 1 I despise. What do you think of these? Tell me in the comments. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and this has been 6 short reviews of party games. Hey everybody, thanks for watching another video from the Dice Tower. Hey, you want to learn more about us, communicate with us? We have a Facebook group, we have a Discord channel, lots of different ways to get involved with the Dice Tower. You can find that in our Linktree link below. So just click that, it will take you and you can communicate with us on Facebook, join our Facebook groups. There's lots of cool things that you can find and become part of the Dice Tower. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Tom Vasel.